Hello, everybody. Just grabbing a couple colors. I'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Just waiting on my laptop. Hello, Matt. Or Matt Marianne. Hello. All right, let me kind of move this up a little bit so I can get some stuff. So we are going to work on practicing a smaller design tonight so that we can eventually work on ornaments. Hopefully in the near future. I'm just looking for my gold because apparently that is the only color I can't grab. There we go. Splendid gold. Okay. Hello, hey Mason. Hello. Oh, I need green. Cannot do a Christmas thing without green. Let me look. I gotta get a flashlight. I can't see under there right now. Hang on a minute. I think the sun is setting earlier now, which I don't like. Oh boy, I don't really have like a green. Let's see. So hang on a minute. I am having a good day. That is almost empty. So, unfortunately for you guys, I may use some untraditional greens because I don't have a traditional green. So we'll start with that. So, I was fiddling around. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Got me to turn my fan on, too. I was fiddling around outside. And, our water is still a mess, so I had to go put my laundry in the dryer because if you leave it in the washer over there, it starts to stink pretty quickly. So I didn't want stinky clothes for work. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We are going to be working on something a little different tonight. Let me get my thing situated here. Might go up a little bit more. Oh, that's high enough. Hi, Robin. How are you? So we're going to work on something a little different tonight. I am not mixing a custom palette. I am going to be using existing colors that I have. And we're going to work on a smaller, getting our patterns smaller so that we can eventually work on ornaments. And these are, there's a couple of different sizes, but this is one ornament. I did this I put that glitter in there a long time ago. Oh, I don't know why it's deciding to come out everywhere. But eventually this is our plan, is that we will start doing designs. These are 2.5. I'd like to do a 3-inch ornament, but I didn't know what I was doing. Good, good. I didn't know what I was doing when I bought these, but so I ended up using them anyways. I mean, you can do designs on this size. I'm not saying you can't. Like I did this one, kind of, non-traditional colors. I did that. This was when I first started, and I was like, oh, I want to do ornaments. So, but in order to actually be able to paint that small and do designs that small, we really need to practice a little bit. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And possibly talk more about doing an exchange as people feel more comfortable. But for right now, I'm going to talk about how to actually do some of these things. Hello, Judy. So, all right, it's time for me to relax. Because I swear all day. So like I told you guys, I was working on like a Fiverr account for UGC, which is user generated content. And I'm very new to that platform. And so I think one of my things I didn't do correctly, but thank you for the heart me. Oh, thank you for the heart me, guys. Oh my goodness. But anyways, long story short, our water is still, we're trying to be careful with our pump so it doesn't burn out on us. And then, then I was studying and then I was eating. And so now it's time for me to relax. All right. So if you are new here, hello, welcome. My name is Victoria. I am a registered nurse and a nurse practitioner student. I will be graduating mid-November. Well, we're going to do some mandala style painting, dot art. We're going to start practicing on smaller designs so that we can work towards doing some Christmas ornaments. That's what we're doing. So you caught us right at the beginning. I haven't even really started. So as a refresher, these are very cheap wood rounds. This is a 4-inch round. If you're going to paint along with us, you could use a 3-inch because the majority of what we will focus on is right here in the center. If you have extra space, we're going to decorate it, but this is about 3 inches. Okay. So I've painted this already with this paint here and specifically that brand. I like to use satin. It does work well. Once you paint these, you must wait till this is fully dry to do your guide marks, which we would do with a chalk pencil. Or people have said they use a watercolor pencil. I've heard people use soapstone. The chalk pen may work. I don't know. This is all I can tell you is this works for me, and this is what I use. So, when you're beginning, you do not need the stencil, you do not need the wood round, but if you want to practice on something, this paper here is 110-pound paper, and that you can actually trace your stencil on and practice right on the paper. So it just depends on how much you want to invest. And thank you for the follow. In a hobby or a new craft that you may already be doing 4 or 5 crafts. I know many of us are habitual crafters in here. So that being said, I try to explain how you can get into this craft more inexpensively than going out and just buying everything. The stencil does help. You could do this with a compass and a ruler, but for beginners, I swear this is the easiest. So if you're new and you want a supply list, a beginner supply list for dot arting, there should be an orange box, bottom left-hand corner. You can simply message me there and I will send you the supply list. You do not have to use that as anything more than a reference. Okay, yes, tap, tap, tap. Thank you. But I like to use these wood rounds. That for this example, I accidentally ordered 6-inch rounds, but you can paint on both sides. So that's what we're doing today. I painted the back side of a couple other rounds, so I would have them. I only need one. And then I take the stencil and just eyeball it. Again, this is practice, so it doesn't have to be perfect. If we're looking into being perfect, then I will let you know. But we are practicing. So you want a good sharp, well, this isn't sharp anymore, but you want to make sure your lines are even when you're making them and not like one super thin and then one super thick, because that could throw off your guide marks. So you just follow the stencil. These get taken care of after it's painted. And either with a, well, there's numerous things we can use to take it off, but we won't worry about that right now. So these guide marks help us keep things centered while we're painting. And then after I get this done, I'll go over a little bit more about kind of what we're doing, why we're doing it. Oh, my pencil, the chalk pencil's getting a little flat. So how is everybody doing? Everybody have a good day. Hi, Angie. How are you? Judy, are you painting tonight? Who's painting tonight? I bet you have been working a couple of nights in a row. That's tough. I remembered it. I did it 26 years. Oh no. I'm sorry, Judy. The birds are making a ruckus. Let me just make sure. Hang on. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what the ruckus is. They're always doing something out there. Okay, so tonight we are going to practice. Oh, and if you are going to hang out and you're not painting or anything like that, I do upload the entire live, so it will be available to you as usual to practice when you want or do what you want. Okay, so I don't really have a lot of this dark forest green, so I'm going to not use it. I'm going to use some, I have a true red, a Tuscan red, and I think I'm going to use the Hauser light green and a lush green, which, wait. Maybe these two greens. The Hauser light green and the Hauser medium green, and then gold. So normally I will show the community how to make a custom palette, but because we are working on, now the only reason I picked holiday colors is because we're working on an ornament. You know, everybody knows when you paint, you can paint whatever colors you want, but everybody else is doing Christmas in July, so why not us? Right? Why not us? Normally, I do not put my paint in these, but we will finish tonight. So, thank you for the heart, me. Yeah, it was weird. It wasn't like really, really bad, but the night I painted that center dot, remember, it was so smoky and I had the fan on me. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. I have never, ever, ever, ever had that happen. So I don't know if maybe the fan just dried it too quick. Yeah, I don't put any water in mine at all. I think that, like I said, we painted that when it was really smoky here, and I had the fan on behind me. I did. I hope you did too. And you know what? I had every intention of getting. Are you painting? Are you doing something tomorrow? I have been working on that Fiverr stuff, and it just got me a little sidetracked again, along with everything else I had to do. Yeah, no, I don't think it had anything to do with the paint, but I have the fan literally blowing on me, and I never do that. So I think it just, between the smog or smoke or whatever you want to call it, plus that, it wasn't horrible. It was just enough where I was like, what the heck is that? Definitely will pay attention to that though. Let me think. I know somebody said the titanium has been giving people trouble. I'm not sure if this is a new bottle or a very old bottle, and I may not have shooken it very well either. Okay. Yeah, you. I've been trying to, I've been trying to stay off, and then I get on and I'm doing other things, so. Okay, so there's 68 of you here. I know some of you are new. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the chat. I'm trying to figure out why things are a little wonky. I feel like, is that better? There we go. Okay, so when we work, and you can do, and some of you have been, thank you for the follow. Some of you have been doing an amazing job at improvising and just going in with your own creative twist. And I mean, Linny sent me something today. Like you guys are like blowing me away. Just yeah, I think so too, Mason. Like I said, I'm just, oh, and I got to put gold in there, but it just blows me away. But let's, now we're going to work on something where you got to do smaller dots. And I feel like, there's a challenge attached to it. And let me make this fan not blowing on me. So that, and then the AC vent is right here too. So yeah, so the goal will be to do much smaller dots, okay, around the center, where normally when we are painting, for sake of time and all of that, we do graduate to Lenny, hi, you're welcome. We graduate to bigger dots pretty quickly. When you're painting in a smaller pattern, we have to tuck things in. Let's kind of redo this this pattern here. Okay, it's got the Christmas vibe to it already. We won't be reinventing the wheel, and we'll be able to finish in our lifetime. So we should be able to finish tonight. Now, if you are you don't have wood and you have some heavy duty paper, you could paint. Thank you for sharing the live, Kimmy. You could paint along with us on paper. I am live every evening, usually Sunday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30. It just kind of depends on what we're doing and how things are progressing in the night. Okay. I'm practicing making lines with dots and mascara. Very cool. Thank you for the follow. Okay. So for this, I'm actually going to start with the metallic gold as the center dot. So when you do a center dot or a larger dot, you want a good amount of paint because you want that dot. And sometimes you got to give a little tap, tap, tap to get enough paint off. Now, if for whatever reason your dot does not fully comply, like right over here, my wood here is a little warped. I just noticed that too. Just take one of the tools and just spread it out. Again, we're practicing. Before I go on, because there are quite a few of you here, and I have a feeling many of you are new and don't really want to ask questions, which is fine. This is a dot art for beginners, and I call this mandala style dot art. Mandala is a little different than this, so I call it mandala style dot art. Some artists just call it mandala, but trying to be respectful of the actual art form, it is a style of mandala. We use, they're basically called dotting tools. These we use the most. There are many different kinds. There's no right or wrong. The thing is, if you take lessons or follow along with somebody, they're going to tell you they're using the white tool, the pink tool, or whatever tool they're working with. So they can be different. But on this set, all of the tips or points are the same size. And then on this side, they go from small to large. We use these tools a lot. In addition to those, we use acrylic rods in different sizes. Most of the time we're not using these two, but we use these other ones from time to time. Okay. For tonight, I'm using a paint palette. Usually when we make a custom palette, I put them in the paint pots So a little bit of a review. Thank you for liking the live, everybody, and sharing it out. I appreciate that. But if you're new here and you have any questions, please ask. If I don't see your comment, somebody may answer quicker than me. So for the sake of this, I'm going to actually, I'm going to do the very small end of the pink. Tiny. And I'm actually going to go with this brighter red. Gotta get that out of the way. And I'm going to start. Okay, so the goal is that you keep your dots the same size. Okay, the same distance apart without touching. And it is inevitable somebody is going to touch a dot. If you can do this without touching dots, it's amazing. Now, we do not usually start this small, but we will for ornaments. So I want to make sure that people practice using the small tools, getting comfortable with them. Oh, see how that happened? I got to get a little closer. These are really hard to do at 12 inches away. There we go. So sometimes you have to tap to get a little more paint off. If you get too big, your dots start getting too big, you got to wipe your tool off. That's what happened with that one. I just use a paper towel to wipe the tool off, but paint will start to accumulate more than you want. Now, if for whatever reason you have an issue with shaking or your eyes, I have an astigmatism, so I get the whole eye thing, go a little bigger, okay? Don't stress yourself out. Go a little bigger. Well, that's the pain in the patukas part. If the dots touch from excess paint, you have to use a Q-tip. I'll probably end up doing that in the live. If you don't use a Q-tip, there are silicone tools. I do not own them. It is a very stressful point when someone's dots touch. But if you're practicing, move on. I can't say the location out loud, Jen. But if you, Jen, do me a favor. If you know how you message me in that orange box down there, message me and ask me to send you the information. If I'm being kind of vague, but you know how to message me there. So, otherwise I'll forget. It is, but I can send you the direct, how to find me. Okay, now I'm pausing, right? Because guess what? That looks like it's a tiny area. And now this is stressful, guys. Trying to find out one. Nope, I'm only doing two. All right. Hang on, I need a little more paint on them. Yeah, so yeah. You can. Yeah, so your dots don't run together, but that's how you learn, right? Angie, you're like, oh, that's too much. And then sometimes you're like, you start to figure it out and you're like, oh, that's way too much paint. Let me wipe it off already. Way too much. And that's why I think, like, honestly, those of you that are watching, I really, really, really suggest, and I'm going to, hang on a minute. Let me flip my book over here so we don't waste a page. I really recommend investing in this paper to practice on. Not only is it helpful for practice, but you can also put like your custom palettes on it. So like at the end of the day, I will be putting these paints on here. So what this paper is good for is like, I mean, this is the large, but you can practice dots relatively easy on it, you know, and your method, how much paint, how long it takes for you to need to wipe off your tool, you know, stuff like that. And you can also practice like how close can you get them. Now, if you can do it in a line, the next goal is, you know, that you're doing it in a circle. Okay? So again, this is one of the reasons I really recommend this. And since we're doing it, I might as well put these colors down so I can see what they all look like. Ooh, I like that green. Ooh, I like that green. And then the light green Hauser. Now, if you end up using these palettes, one thing you need to remember not to do is you don't want to go in to get paint and hit the bottom. Okay? That you're not going to get the right amount of paint. You want to go in, swirl your paint around. Swirl your tool around. Okay? You want to get a good amount of paint because we do a lot of walking dots, right? So then if you don't have a lot of paint, then you're not going to be able to get around. And then every time, until I get to the end of the circle, every time I want to do a new dot, oh boy, I think I'm going to have to get my paper out of the way now. I dip my tool again. So every dot, except for when I get to the very, very end where I'm trying to figure out how many I can fit in, might you see me do something a little different. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the small end of the yellow. Again, keeping it small because I want to show you guys how this kind of falls into place. Okay, a little bigger, right? Still just keeping things tight, as close as possible, without touching. If they touch, it's going to be just fine. I have to find the right angle because I have the cord for my phone in my face. How do you form a dome for the... Enough paint, Aurora Sky. You need a lot of paint. Yep, that's one of the main things that I was taught early on is that you need a good amount of paint. Like it should almost be dripping off your tool. Now, sometimes you have to dip it, you have to tap, like you can't push down on it. So if you're pushing down and like when you go to put it down and you're it's hard to explain, but if you're pushing, you're going to get the dent. You have to touch the wood and tap, tap, tap. Like you're not actually touching the wood though. Yeah. I can show you, we're going to do some bigger dots. They won't be that big, but I can show you again with those because it's similar. Yep. Oops. So remember, every dot gets a new drop of paint or dip of paint. And if you need to, again, the same thing with the smaller dots. Sometimes you have to tap to get it where you want it. Oh, this is really, hopefully my phone will be charged soon because this cord is really in my way. Haven't, yep, almost hanging off of it. Yep. That is exactly right. And it's intimidating because you're like, why would I need that much paint? You do. If you don't, it just, they don't do. And like I said, you cannot touch the canvas. All right, same thing. I'm going to pause and I'll show you. Like I said, normally I will just do like this and that because then I know pretty much where they're going to go. There. All right, according to this one, we go up a size and then we will do, oh, I actually put a lot of guide marks on this one. What? What do you want, Country Dots? What do you want? Hi, Lulu. Thank you for the heart me. Or Rose, or Lulu. Hi, how are you? Okay, I'm going to actually do, just for sake of practice. Thank you for the heart puff. Thank you, Judy. All right, so in this case, I'm using, well, no, I won't use the small end. Thank you. Because that's the same. Yeah, I'm going to use the small end of the white. And I'm going to actually do the lighter green for this row. And I'm not getting creative. If you guys want to start doing like a dot here and a dot here and a dot here, like other people do that, and it's really hard to do when the dots are small. But if you want to venture off and play with that, you're certainly welcome to do that. I usually start somewhere and just go around. There is no reason yet where you have to be doing something other than just practicing on your spacing, your size. I will say that this, because it probably has some white in it, it's a little thinner. But for the most part, this particular brand of paint is pretty consistent in all of their colors. Now, that being said, some of them dry translucent, which can be annoying if you don't know that. I did not know that, so I'm telling you all that. Oranges, the dark purple, the dark blues. That one kind of came out like an oval. Also, when you get these cheap wood rounds, they're very grainy. Yeah, so I don't do rectangles, but we're actually going to work on this pattern, Rose. We're actually starting to like practice doing smaller. You do prefer Lulu, no worries. I saw the, yeah. We're working on smaller projects because up until recently, we had been working on like a larger design pattern. So now that some of them want to, as a matter of fact, I need to erase those guide marks and seal that. We want to try and work on some Christmas ornaments. Oh, I don't know. I would get, if I were going to do something other than wood, I would recommend a multi-surface paint. Thank you for the follow. So, but I tend to, I do, other than painting on the rounds, I paint on stone. and that's in a circle too. You, and Lulu, listen, I encourage everybody that's here to paint how they want. Marcia likes to paint with lines, and so she's learning how to do dot art with in more of a linear pattern, or I don't. It's not really linear. It's yeah. So stick around. Like I said, we're working on like. Some people are painting with me, some are not. Some will watch the live afterwards and practice later. But yeah, our goal is to practice on smaller dots to perfect that more so that when we move into an ornament that's way smaller than what we've been working on, they'll have some practice and be able to do those patterns. So this right now is probably going to be the last, I don't know, I might, let me think here. 1, 2, 3. You always want to pause towards that end before you just keep painting and see what you can get in there. How do you watch it afterwards? So somebody here actually taught me how to do that. So, but Lulu, the thing is, if you want me to help you get to that, you have to, and it's, you have to message me or I will not remember this. I'm just telling you right now. In the bottom left-hand corner is an orange box with a white arrow. All you have to do is message me there and simply say, send me the live, how to get the live or something, just something that'll prompt my memory. And then I will help you get there. It usually takes me a day because it takes a while to download and then it takes a little while to get it where it needs to go. But yeah, so if you do that, that will help. Linear is the correct word I make. Okay, linear. Okay, that makes sense. And yeah, I don't know, like we can use this directly on the plastic ornaments, this particular just craft paint. But if I were going to paint on glass, then I would use multi-surface. So that's why I'm like with slate, I mean, it may work fine because it's not really smooth. It's porous. I mean, and I use the regular acrylic on these rocks. So I don't see why not. All right, and this will be our last row, and I'm going to do this red here, and I'm using the large end of the white. Same thing, I'm just picking a spot, starting there, and going around. In the beginning, it's kind of meh, but this is where you get that center dimension. You gotta start somewhere. It is. That's why I'm like, I feel like it would probably be fine on the slate. As long as it's not super shiny. Yeah. I think it would work fine. I just want to like caution you, like I do not do any designs really other than this pattern because of the irregularity of the stone. Like it's really going to be hard to get swooshes in there, you know, just because of the irregularities. But I mean, there are like slate coasters that I've seen, and I'm trying to remember if they. I think they're smoother. They're more finished. So, you know what? The worst thing is you could. Hi, pea cakes. Worst thing is you try it and it don't work out. That's exactly right. And then who knows, you end up coming up with something new and you love it, and you know, the sky's the limit. Exactly. Exactly. That's what this community is about, because you know, we all do other crafts in here. This is really my only other craft right now. This is really my therapeutic. This is what I do. Other than the fishing that I do frequently. But it's been too hot, the water's too low. We have not been out fishing. Plus, we have a big hole. We're doing the big dig in the backyard, so that's kind of a pain in the butt. But, yeah. Creativity. Like sometimes when people are painting along with me, they have more space than I do. And just, I'm like, improvise. Okay, so here's a good example of what's going to happen. I can really only get one in there. It's going to be a little bigger space in between, but instead of trying to fit two in there and make a mess, Beverly, the first one. Yes. I did my first swooshes in a wood round this weekend. Epic mess, but I looked a lot. That's what it's all about, friend. Yes. So Beverly, if you want help navigating to that, same thing for you. The orange square with the white arrow at the bottom left hand, if you message me there, that is truly the easiest way for me to help you. It may ask you for your email. I do not need an email address. I just message you right here. Okay. So next up. So I actually used a stencil with a lot more guide marks than that one. So, but we're going to make it work. One, two. Okay, where's my girl that has swooshes? Yes, they are. I told you guys, I literally cringed when she said, okay, and now we're going to do swooshes. And then her swooshes were perfect. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And I actually, because they were so hard, I just kept trying to do the brush strokes, which was really hard too. So I encourage you to work on swooshes. I swear by the 110-pound paper though. Thank you for the follow. Getting that 110-pound black paper is very beneficial. YT, okay. Yeah. I'm just, we've been doing so good and have had no issues. I'd like to keep it that way. I mean, we've been doing so good. Okay. Hello, Joe. I don't know. Gosh, there is a brand on my supply list, but I think you can just buy it singly instead of a book. If if that's all you have available to you, I think so. DoorDash. We don't even get that here. So, Space Panda, I do not feel sorry for you. So yeah, just make sure that it's upwards of 110 pounds because yeah, I think that's where mine came from, the rainforest. But I do not feel sorry for somebody that gets DoorDash. Whatever. Just make sure it's upwards of 110 pound. You can get cardstock in a... Well, yeah, you can. If you get it too thin, it will curl. So you don't want like to be practicing and then, like you go back to it and it's kind of curled up. That's the only reason that I've stuck. And even that weight, if I put too much paint on it, like I feel it, like when it dries, it warps underneath. All right, where's my girl who gets dips in her big dots? You need a lot of paint. No, you got to be careful adding water to acrylic. See, now I actually did not have enough paint. So dip a little bit more. Hi, Aurora Sky. So yes, I'm finding my paint too thick. Joe, what brand is it? And be careful adding water. Shake it up some more before you start adding too much water. Absolutely, Rose. I have never had to mix any medium in when I use this brand. Okay? Now, there are other people that are familiar with different paints on here. So does anybody, is Mason still here? No, Mason is gone. Does anybody that know the answer to that? But it's definitely better if you're using acrylic to use a medium and instead of water, because water will, yeah, I mean, have I added water a drop at a time? Yes. Yeah, see, I'm not familiar with that line. And yes, pea cakes, that's usually what most of us go with. Okay, Aurora Sky, look. Can you see all that? Can you see that paint? Look. I mean, I have a lot of paint on the end of that. And I'm going every other right at that first guide mark. Okay, got to be a lot of paint. And that would be a backup, Jen. 100% backup, yep. Both have been around. Now, that being said, there are some individuals that do not have access to those paints. So, I do not know the answer for you. I would do some research to find out what they suggest as a medium. Again, a couple drops of water is going to be fine. It's, well, okay, I got to fix that one. That came off the tool funky. So tap, tap, tap. I think I had some paint dried on the... Yeah, I mean, you just have to be very careful. I've made the mistake of overdoing it, and sometimes that's what'll happen is you'll get that cracking that we were talking about. So you would hate to work on a big project, right? And then all of a sudden you come back the next day and everything's cracked. But I think if you do the research, I think you'll be fine. You'll find something that's where did she go? So Joe, I feel like what Judy said, but that's to thin. Yeah. And that's what she needs to do. She says it's a little too thick. Okay, so now we're going to work on walking dots, and I am actually going to use the small end of the yellow tool. All right, there are 90-some people here. Does anybody have any questions? If you're new here, say hi in the chat if you want to know what we're doing. I'll tell you. We've been doing lives for some time now, and we have worked on a lot of rocks, working on dots, and we've actually been practicing larger mandalas. These are 6-inch rounds. And now the community wants to work on, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Beverly, new here. Thank you for the follow, Alexa. Thank you for the TikToks. I always think it's funny when I say TikTok. Thank you for liking the live too, everybody. You guys are good at doing the good tap, tap, tappies. So we are going to practice a little bit on some smaller projects to prep ourselves to work on ornaments. Whether it be plastic or the wooden, most of them are going to be 3-inch. So this is about 3 inches. So, and these are 4-inch rounds. So this is maybe a little bit. It's almost 3 inches. So that's what we're doing. Working on just smaller design patterns to get better with. I think I'm just going to use the same pattern again for some simplicity here. My paint is drying. That's the only thing about using these paint palettes. And I know somebody's going to say you could put a paper towel over it. I know I could. I know I could. I don't, though. Yeah. So a walking dot is simply you're going to start at the, I might have to go size up. You're going to start at the top and walk your dots around instead of getting a drop of paint each time. Okay? So you dot and you walk. I don't count. I just walk. You are welcome. You are welcome. Yep. I'm glad you're practicing with me too. So sometimes if you have a hard time, you can do that dot and then go back in. If you're having a hard time getting your walking dots all the way around. Slowing down helps because then as you slow down, more paint comes off the end of the tool. Well, so I don't normally ever have that problem. Two things happened, I think, trying to dry it too fast and maybe not making sure your paint is mixed really well and too much humidity. So right now, like here the other day, I painted and we did a custom palette and I used white. And this has never happened to me before, but it did. But we were painting, it's super hot. There was a lot of smoke in the air and I had a fan blowing on me. And it was ever so slight. Oh, you can't even see it now, but it was very slight. So letting the paint dry naturally, not rushing it, is, and I got to wipe my tool off because I already know that it's collecting on there. And some paints are just notorious for cracking. There's some quality paints that you won't see that with. Could be old paint. What kind of paint are you using, Alexa? It's a good thing I don't have an Alexa here. Hi, Tasha. How are you? I know, Joe. It's awful. If I had an Alexa, it'd be, can I help you? Okay. And I will be honest, so is mine. I don't think my white was old, though. And that, we all want... Now, I would use it for practice, Alexa. Don't throw it away. Shake it up real good. Just make sure you shake it up real good and use it to practice with. Absolutely. Yeah, Judy. Yeah, that I have come across some paints that I've had for a few years and I'm having not that issue, but different issues. Like sometimes it's too thin and on one of the white, I can never remember was no, titanium is not transparent. That is definitely opaque. I don't know about the zinc. I don't have that one. Oh, you got angled ones, Tasha. I'm jealous. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only ever used the titanium or like the off-white colors. Yeah, they say those are good for people with eyeball issues like mine, like astigmatisms. So, but one day I will own oh my goodness. One day I will own a set of those because, well, like I told you guys, I do okay with the acrylic rods, but having these, and I'm not trying to, do anything, but having this white really helps with dot placement for me. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. What in the world? I had a bug. I had a bug in my paint. So I am using the small end of the yellow for refresher. If you guys are on other like Linny sent me a message and tagged me on another platform, and her backyard is like, I want to go visit. and I want to go hang out. But I don't think she posts here. So what I'm getting at is if you guys do not post here or don't tag me, I won't, or send me a message privately, I will not see most likely your artwork. So if you want to share with me or ask me questions, please just message me. I'm pretty I'm pretty receptive. Some bugs have dots. And I think for me, that's my thing, Joe. Like, I want to hold my tool like this. We completed the first stage of the Heart Me Challenge. I don't know. We get those messages and I don't even know what that means. We just paint here. Right? Tasha, we just watch paint dry here. Thank you for the wink winks. But yeah, I feel like that would probably help me too, because I have that tendency too. Okay, so I'm just going to flip over to the large end of the yellow and start with our next row. And I think we'll have enough room for our traditional 5. So, and I think I'm just going to keep with the same color pattern after I stir this paint. See what I mean? See, like that normally doesn't happen when I use the paint pots. Doesn't separate like that. So I like to use paint pots. But I don't know. Like tomorrow we will pick another paint palette. And hang on a minute. I was not paying attention to what I did. So I have a tendency to want to hold it like at an angle. You should hold it straight up and down to get more of the paint off. We are working on Christmas in July, don't you know? We are. All right, so I made a mistake. Q-tip, wet the Q-tip, and you're going to roll carefully towards you. Okay? And you need a few Q-tips. Doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to put a dot in that area, but all right. Large end of the yellow. I went too low. So with the next dot, you want to come up so we can make our triangle. So you come up and you dot and you dot. Okay, tap, tap, tap. Yeah, I have a tendency of holding at an angle, and you really should, especially with walking dots. Like if you're just doing one dot, it's different, but all right. So then now you're going to walk your dots around to get that petal shape going. Now, I know a flower is not your traditional holiday design, okay? I encourage you to explore color palettes, different dotting patterns. You do whatever you want. Okay, I know there are a lot of artists out there that have their, they have some really pretty design ideas, and I am using the guide marks here. Okay, so this dot and this dot are lining up best I can, and I make my triangle. I again encourage you to do whatever you want. it's better bigger on your... It is tiny, I know. And I really can't get the camera much closer. If I do, I won't be able to see myself. There's my overreact. Thank you for the heart, me. It matches the paint color. So the guide marks are the white chalk marks, and we use them to keep the design somewhat centered in not centered, symmetrical. So you don't necessarily have those horizontal guide marks in the center. And that's one reason I use a couple rows of ring dots or whatever you want to call them around there. Those dots were a little low. It's okay. By the time I'm done, nobody's going to notice any of that. They're not going to notice that those dots are smaller than or bigger than those. Those. You Tasha. The writing block you're dotting. Oh, so tell her how, tell her how to get rid of that. I think if you tap your screen, the writing will go away. It's hard for me because this is small to be all the way out here, but I should be above it. Am I above it now, Polly? Hang on, let me wipe the tool off. Yeah, it's just really hard for me to get much closer or further away. When I'm doing bigger ones, I'm able to, but these are a little tougher. I was filming over my shoulder, but the community actually prefers directly overhead. So we were working together. I do try. Sometimes I get out of frame. Yeah, let me know if that works or if it's better, Polly. Okay. Thank you guys for helping her out. I don't know how to do that. I know that that's come up a couple of times. So just walking. So I find doing the triangle helps me. Oh, well, that's cool, Rose. I didn't even know it did that. Huh. I'm usually just on my phone, so. But what I was saying is I like to do the triangle because I feel like it helps me keep my petal pretty well formed. You do not have to do that. If you're good enough and you just go down the side and you do you. But I find that if I do, see what I just did? I'm always on the side of the tool. If I just do it this way, they don't all come out uniform, and I don't know why. Some sort of issue with my brain. Yeah, for me, That works for me. Yeah, I just feel like, so it doesn't really look green and red down there. Does it look green and red to you guys? I don't know. Does? Okay, good. Good. Okay, I am going to just follow this pattern just for simplicity. All right, so let's see. So the next is a swoosh starting about here. And then walking dots of gold on it. So we'll do the red. I think red and gold would be good. Okay, so we'll do this red. And then let me mix it up. Thank you for joining the fan club. Thank you for the follow, Alina. Alina. Thank you for the oh my goodness, thank you for the TikToks. Love it. You guys are doing everything. We're getting new friends and everything. Okay, so I'm using the large end of the blue to do this swoosh. And then this one is coming up all the way. And we're pushing and slowly letting that paint come off. Don't go fast. Don't push hard. Okay? You got to start and push the paint around. Okay, now this is what happened here. So you take the other end of the tool, straighten that out. You got to be quick though, because if you're not, you'll get a weird line. What happened here? Hang on a minute. I see. There we go. I had a weird angle. But you got to be quick because that paint starts to dry and you'll get see that weird little ridge in there. So be slow. Wrong color. No. Did I go in the wrong? Oh, with the last little piece? I did. Okay. You're right. Hang on. Oh, it'll be fine. I think it's melting in there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. I'm not gonna erase it for that. All right, so pretty good drop of paint. Slowly push the paint around. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Put your drop of paint. And if it doesn't make it, you can choose to fiddle with it, but sometimes. It must have been pretty loud, Joe. I think it's going to be fine. Nobody's gonna see it. Oh, isn't that terrible? That's the only thing about this platform. Oh, and we do need to get, so when we start doing this, we will have to, I think we need to, I keep saying I need to do that. I keep forgetting. Slowly push that paint around. No, try not to. A little bit over here. A little bit. Shh. Everybody simmer down. Class, simmer down. But you do want them like close. I did touch this one here, but not terribly. Simmer down. I don't want to touch them, but I do want them to hug. Now, the goal is to not touch them when they're wet, because then you're really going to get like a mess. Yeah. Veronica, ¿qué va? Where are we going? ¿Qué va a hacer eso? I should know that phrase, but I do not. Because that's a very basic phrase. Does anybody want to translate? Okay, this one is the one that I kind of screwed up the dots on, so now I've already screwed up my swoosh. So I'm going to turn it around a little bit because I had already screwed up the dots. So I'm going to just turn it around to hopefully even that out a little bit so it's not. It is, but when you guys start working with the smaller palette, you're going to see it really is a challenge. She wants to know what's going on. Okay, that's what I thought, but I don't know how to say it, and I don't know how to say it. Pointillism, because that's what they call it in Spanish. Pointillism. Mandala is the name. I wish I knew more. I should have my friend here. What is it going to be? Yeah, what's it going to be? So we're practicing to make Christmas ornaments. Hang on, let me pull one out. But hopefully I won't get any ornaments. Paint on them later, más tarde, ornamento. Oh. Look, maybe between all of us we can communicate. But there's the word practice. So see what I mean, Catherine? See how I hold the tool on the side? You really, really, really want to hold it up and down. Okay? So those curved tools would probably help with this for me too. Oh, good. Okay, yeah. That was very nice of you. Thank you for doing that, Joe. Do we have a hit translate too? It's 9:30. I'm watching for my I don't have a puzzle piece yet. I was looking at the screen to see if we have like something that we can do that with. But I don't see it on my phone during the live. Okay. Well, I like that she asked. If you're still here, welcome. So see what I mean? You when you go back over it, it's you don't want to. Don't want to. Okay, do we do? Okay. Okay, cool. What do you think? So far, so good. So I think when we, so we're just now an hour and a half, and that's with us, chit-chatting and all that. So, but I feel like it's just like everything else we do. I think you could take this pattern, okay, or a few, and do different color palettes, and every single one would look different. Like if you wanted to do a set for a friend and her Christmas tree is like teals or whatever. I mean, a lot of people do the teal and silver and all that. You could do a couple different designs, like that one is a good one, I feel like. And then I feel like even this one. Oh, that's the same one. Never. But see, that's the same one, but a little bit different. It's literally the same pattern. I did one more row of dots in the center. I only did 3 here. I did a swoosh around the center dot there. So, yeah, that one does, yeah. But see what I mean? How changing just one simple thing and the color, it looks totally different, in my opinion. I might be crazy, but, so that's that one. I don't really like that one. I mean, here's a pink one. Again, I think we were starting to do that same design pattern I just showed you. Something similar, more rows of dots, couple of swooshes. So, but I do like this design too. I thought this was really pretty. But anyways, we got options. This is a green one I did. So if you buy bigger ornaments, you could do brush strokes on them. Anyways, I already told you, Space Panda, like, I don't get DoorDash here, so I really don't feel sorry for you. Hope nobody gives you any money, because we don't do that here. How do I get, where did I go again? I need to give somebody, I think TikTok got rid of them. Thank you for the follow, Janice. Okay, so we're going to do our swooshes here. We're going to do gold walking dots on the red there, so we don't want to do anything there. We don't want to do red there, so let's do, we'll do red. We'll do red, green, and green. Yeah. And then let me see what size is going to be best. What did you mess with? I don't know. What do you mean, Lulu? What did I miss? Oh, there's a comment up there from somebody who's looking for money for DoorDash. I was like, look, I don't even get DoorDash here. So, hang on a minute. I might need to improvise here. Because remember, this is, normally I use the wrong stencil. Normally I would use a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is a 12-point stencil. I used, did I use a 12? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did. I don't know why it looks different. I just think it's funny. Like, I'm like, I don't get DoorDash here, so I sure as hell don't feel bad for that. I know it's weird. It's just weird. So hopefully TikTok shut them down because it's weird. It's bot. Okay, so these are going to be gold. Okay, I'm going to do, let me stir it up. All right. Hi, Sandra. It's weird. It's a weird dollar amount. So hopefully TikTok shut them down. Just kind of a weird comment. Hi, Dawn. All right, so I am going to try with the large end of the blue. I'm starting here, the top, and I'm going to try and get this swoosh down as far as I can. I'm good. How are you? Did you have a good day? So we're going just down as far as you can. If you need to, you can. Good. Good. I didn't feel as productive, but I've been working on like some techie stuff, and it is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So, but it was a good day. Like, I woke up, it's a good day. I have my health. It's a good day. So this is the point in the live where I ask you all what we want to do tomorrow. Do we want to keep practicing on these smaller pieces in preparation for ornaments? Do we want to work on a love stone? What do we want to do? If we want to work on another 6-inch round, that's always a possibility too. if you want to keep doing these smaller pieces in practice, are we picking another color palette to practice with? Pretty. You want to try to do a rock? That is the way it always is. It looks easy when you try. Yeah. Well, and you know, it's funny because I was on a live, okay? And I've been interested in this term UGC, user generated content. I've been curious about that. Didn't really quite understand really what it was. I mean, I am already like kind of doing that with like, you know, TikTok shop and stuff like that. Thank you, Elaine. It is. It's coming out very pretty. But I was on a live, so I ended up basically purchasing the instructions, but from a video, like really well done. And I got so, it was so weird. Like I actually got a private message saying how much it was SCAM. And I'm like, I basically feel like I provided a financial understanding for the person's time. Thank you for the heart, me. But if I hadn't done that, I would never have been able to do what I did yesterday and today. That's what I'm getting at. I'm like, it was worth it for me to have access to that. All right, so I am going to switch to the large end of the white. But yeah, and you know, it was very involved and not hard, but just involved and doing stuff that I've never done before. So all right, so ooh, that might be too big. I'm actually gonna switch to the small end of the white. It might just, oh, wrong color. Joe's yelling. I hear her. I heard you, Joe. That time I heard you. All right, this time I'm coming just a little bit below, not a lot. And I'm careful because I really do not want these colors to bleed together, and just coming down, just not, doesn't have to come all the way. I heard you that time. That was close. Okay. I wish they could come down a little bit further. I gotta just, maybe if I turn it this way, that won't keep happening. I don't know why those two are my ones that I want to do that with. So I want it to come down about there. Yeah. Yeah, I'll turn it this way and then maybe it won't be as easy for me to try and do that. Let's see. Yes. So, yeah. So we're just, I guess that last swoosh didn't really come out where it was supposed to. It kind of came down the side. So, Dawn, were you here last night? Or did you, I'm trying to remember now. So we're, and those of you that are new here, just tuning in. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we picked red and green and gold to start practicing for like the Christmas ornaments. But that's what I was asking everybody just now is what do we want to do tomorrow? Who is it that's wanted a red background with black and gray or something? Hi, Kara. Somebody on here. Oh, okay. Joe. Okay. As untraditional as that is, Joe, do you want to it'll give me practice for the ornament and the live, but I can paint the back of this red, and we have a black and gray palette left over. Do you want to see what that looks like? I mean, it won't necessarily be traditional Christmas colors, but we can still do a pattern, and people can still practice their smaller design. I mean, we can vote on it, but she's been asking, and she's been pretty patient. I think we're caught up. I think everybody got their special requests in, and what do you think, guys? You want to do that? Well, we'll try it. I've never done it, right? I've never painted on a red background. Why not? All right, we'll do it. And then, like I said, we'll still practice. It'll still be practice for our smaller patterns, but we'll get to see what it looks like. All right, so that'll be it. So I'll paint this black because I don't really have a... Maybe not that one. Oh, there we go. I got one. I think that'll work. I don't know. Judy, do you think I have to add a little bit of black to the red so it won't be translucent? Oh, maybe not black. I'm sorry. Like a brick. I do not. Like, no. I've never tried. I mean, I don't know why, you couldn't practice and do stuff like that. But I have not. I think it's cute when, that is added. I really love watching, how creative people can get with what they're doing. But I'd have to say that's not necessarily my style of dotting. Not to say that I wouldn't try it. Just never thought about it. So yeah, I think I'll add a little bit of, this may be dark enough. We'll see. I'll see when I paint it. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing. I'm going to use this lighter green. I do feel like I would like to do, instead of like a black background, do a few on, like a lighter background and like teals and stuff like that. That's to me, for me, that's more Christmassy, if that makes sense. I do, our tree is not really like a red and green tree. It's more of, like that silvery blue, teal blue, and all that in there. But I do love traditional green, red and green. Okay, so this is fantastic. So I'm not really going to be able to do swooshes with this tool. That is not going to fit in there. Thank you for liking the live, everybody. I appreciate that. And you guys are keeping the chat going. Let me see if I can actually get swooshes in here. Some spaces are really tiny. So yeah, they're going to kind of overlap, but you know what? We're going to go with it. It's fine. Everything is fine. Just tucking them in there. And when you do the swooshes, make sure you don't push down too hard, because if you do, you're going to put a little groove in your wood. This wood is not, oh boy, this wood is not, like, it's soft. So if you push too hard, you're going to put a divot in it. Thank you, Joe. Okay, so I had to tuck those in there. And then what I would do is, because we actually have more space, I would do another row of some sort of design. But because our focus is like on a 3-inch, that's where we're going to stay. So, because remember, I don't really plan on doing, so that's about 3 inches. And when you do get the ornaments, depending on what size you get, I don't want to get glitter on there. What did I say? These are like 2.5. But when you come around to the curve, they're more like 3. So as you're painting, now I know you guys have seen, there's like somebody that sells like an ornament holder. I've never used any of that. You're more than welcome to get that if you want to, because I feel like it actually has like your guide marks on it. You can mark your guide marks using it with a ruler, but I'm just going to use, so the way I would do it is find my stencil, and then I'm going to have to get, obviously it wouldn't work really well with this type of glitter, but you have to get a chalk marker. So let me think about this, because this will work, but it's kind of a pain. Good night. Good night. Oh no. Thank you for the follow, Loki. All right. Sleep good. Let me think about that. Because like I said, I did mine freehand. That's going to be really hard to do with that stencil. So maybe we'll have to stick to the wood rounds unless everybody gets that little device. I wonder how much those are. Does anybody have one of those? The little ornament holders where you can mark your lines? Judy, maybe you do because I feel like you have everything. All right. I am going to... It's 9:52. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the gold walking dots after I stir this. So I know somebody that sells them, but I feel like I've made marks on those ornaments and I can't remember how now. I just cannot remember. So I'm just going to do walking dots of gold down the swooshes. Thank you for the follow. The thing with the ornaments is there's a slight curve on them. So when they do, so I don't feel like I need the holder, but there is a like a silicone stencil that like folds over, so it's like not rigid like the one I have. But again, my goal is that not everybody has to go and buy a bunch of things. I mean, because it's a live, it's beginner class for beginners, and I really don't want beginners to feel like they have to go out and buy stuff. So we have to practice a little while before we're there, but I want to do some investigative work on the most cost-effective way, because, sometimes they cost, a certain amount of money and then there's shipping on top of it. So it's not just, the one thing. And I know I really don't want to, but we have to be able to mark the ornaments some way. Did Judy go to bed? I think Judy might have gone to bed. No, Judy says she's still on her tablet. Thank you for sharing the live, Jen. And then, like, if I wanted to, like, I'll probably erase the guide marks tomorrow and identify, like, here in the middle, not the outer part, and identify, like, maybe a dot here, something like that. I think what I would do is, if that was the end of the design, which technically it would be, I would probably do gold dots all the way around. You could do, I don't know, gold or red. Gold, red, or green? Green. The light green. Got to turn. All right, Sandra, have a good night. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to take the green, and this is what I mean. I would do, I think I would just do all the way around. So on the edge of the ornament, I would do a full ring. Something like that. And then may or may not fill that in. Because remember, it'll have glitter in it. So you'll have a background and it won't be black. So, oh, Joe. Did you see what I did? Oh my goodness. Went right in that gold. So, yeah. So I would just do this. I would come around and just do a full ring all the way around. All right, so if you're gonna tune in tomorrow and paint, I mean, you don't have to do the black background, but I mean the red background, but I am gonna paint something with a red background, and we're gonna paint with our existing black and gray palette on a small wood round, 3 or 4 inches works. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would just go around. Well, that one's a little small over there. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you guys too before. With the with these wood rounds, sometimes you get in a little, like the wood grain is a pain in the butt. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just because it's inexpensive. So the wood grain is, the paint can kind of get in the wood grain, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. But for practice, it's good. If you don't want that problem, practicing on the paper helps. Alrighty. Well, this will take a little while because I got to go all the way around. Which is kind of boring. Oh, hang on a minute. Okay. My computer is ready to go to bed too. So this is kind of what happens, like if your guide marks are a little wonky. That's why a lot of us use the compass, because you do get, your ring isn't broken up. So that does help eliminate any irregularities with these outer rings. You know, I don't think Cece's not here tonight, is she? Is Cece here? Thank you for the rose. Hi, Lady Lisa. How are you? How are you, friend? It is so pretty. for the rose. But yeah, I don't think Cece's here tonight, is she? I haven't seen her. So, all right. So to round up tonight, we will be here tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Painting till about 10:30. Just depends on where we end up with our project and what we're doing. I will paint black and gray on a red background, another small, so we can practice our patterns for Christmas ornaments and get ready for stuff like that. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? Thank you, Lulu. I appreciate you finding us and hanging out with us tonight. It's been fun. I always like it when we get new people come hang out and watch paint dry with us. Maybe I should change the live to that, because that has kind of become our tagline since a couple nights ago. So, gonna just do 2 more in here. Right? 2 more. Nope, I'm just gonna do 1. Too risky. Just make it a little bigger and make this one a little bigger. And ta-da! Thank you, Joe. I'll see you tomorrow night. So like I said, you can choose to, like I said, I'm going to erase the guide marks tomorrow when it's all dry, and then go from there, because I would probably put something here. But again, it's going to be on an ornament that has glitter on the inside. So I don't know that it's absolutely necessary to fill in every aspect of the design. So pretty. Well, now I'm in the Christmas spirit. Alrighty. Well, does anybody have any questions? If not, I think we are kind of at a stopping point. Like I said, all I'm going to do is really find a round that I can paint with red on the back. I think that'll work. I was going to use this one, but I don't want that to interfere in my design. So I think I'll do that. And then we'll be all ready for tomorrow. And then I'll know if this needs another coat too. You know, red can be funny. Like sometimes it's translucent, sometimes it's... I think I want to add... Well, yeah, I'm going to have to add yeah, that's going to dry too pink. So I'm going to add a color to this. Probably a brick, because that's just going to dry like almost pink. Let me look underneath here, because we did have a custom palette, but I feel like I used that up or got rid of it. So that's one thing that's nice about these inexpensive wood rounds is you can actually paint on both sides. God, it's hot in the house. Whew. Let me see if I have red palette. No. Hang on a minute. I think I got rid of that red palette, which would be perfect right now. All right. So I am going to mix that's orange. Where's my brick red? There it is. Heritage brick. It's kind of a brown, but I think that'll help. Still, yes. Oh, can you see it? Well, good. So I'm just trying to come up with a way to make this red a little bit not so translucent. So I'm going to add a little bit of a brick brown red. So we're going to paint on a red background tomorrow. Joe has been asking for us to paint on a red background with black and gray, just to kind of get an idea, just to see what it would look like. So we're going to try and do that. I just needed to darken this up to make it more of a, I think that's better. I think that's better. Kind of. It's actually probably easier. I mean, for me, I don't know how to explain it without getting in trouble. So if you want to shoot me a message in that bottom orange, there's an orange box on the bottom left-hand corner with a white arrow in it. If you shoot me a message and ask me to get you the full live, I can get you started that way. That, I think, to me, that's easier than trying to say a bunch of code stuff and risk getting in trouble. Does that make sense, Marianne? I gotta talk in code. I feel like. I might be wrong, but I feel like I do. But yeah, if you shoot me a message there, I can get you I can get you there. That goes for anybody else if you need help navigating that. Okay, I think that's red. At least it's definitely more red than it was when I started, so that's good. So, Karen, did you hear what this is going to be, though? This is a little different than anything I've ever done. The background is going to be red. And then we're going to paint with the black and gray palette we used on, I don't want to get paint on it. We're going to use up the palette that we used for this one. But I'm trying to get this red, because red is weird. But Joe had wanted to see what it would look like. And she's been patient. She's been patient. So we're going to keep practicing our smaller designs, but we're gonna be a little more creative while we're doing it. And then as we, keep going with this, people can, we can work with whatever, but nobody seemed to really have any ideas yet, so. There we go. That's pretty red. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll get you in the right direction. And then once I do, it'll all, like I said, it'll make sense. It'll all make sense. Okay, so that's the plan for tomorrow. This is what we finished, Karen, tonight. Karen. I thought I hadn't seen you. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're working towards working on smaller patterns, 3 inches, so that we can start doing Christmas ornaments. Some people aren't really sure if they're just going to get like the plastic flat ones. Hey, Karen, after the past couple of days of the stuff that I've been trying to do, I totally get that. Totally get it. But so some people are maybe just going to do like the wooden ornaments. Some are thinking of maybe just doing the flat plastic. I think some, myself included, may want to do like the glitter inside. So we're working on a smaller pattern because you have to do smaller dots to do smaller surface areas. So that's what we did or are doing. But then Jo, who's here regularly, she's been wanting to see like black and gray on red. So I was just painting that so it's ready for me for tomorrow. My lips are so chapped. Sorry, guys. But yeah, that's where we're at. So as always, also Karen, I don't know if, yeah, I think you were here. I'm up, all of the full live is available, right? For like, if you want to practice painting and stuff like that, it's available. Okay. So if you do, I you know how much I hate talking in code and all of that. But if you want to have me help you get, so that you can see them, if you would shoot me a message through that orange box, yes, because then it's just easier. We've been doing good. We don't have any issues. So I would, yeah, do that. And then I'll get you in the right direction. Really? Yeah. My grandkids have a 3D printer. Let me look into that. Let me look into that and see. I mean, I have no problem, I just feel like that's a little much. And Dawn, I'm not going to try and be negative, but she won't be long. You put stuff like that out there, unless it's patented, it won't be long. I guarantee you can find that. But I think that's a little pricey. I mean, it's a cool thing. I'm not, like I said, I mean, I know I can do it with the silicone stencil. It's just, it's really, like I said, a cool little device. Yeah, she does. I mean, and I mean, not for nothing. Like, I mean, creative. Like, I think, you know, she's got all that stuff. I think it's fantastic. But I'm not about spending that much. Hi, Jessica. So this is what we made tonight. I won't, and you know what, Dawn? I won't ever use those because I feel like that to me is cheating. And again, I'm not trying to be like, I just, I like there is one that I like. It's a petal, like a single petal. You know, it's like a, kind of like a teardrop. I like that one. But okay, so Jessica, quick, since you're here, so tomorrow night, I know you might not be here, but tomorrow night Joe has wanted to paint on a red palette, a red background with black and gray. So we're gonna use the black and gray that we have mixed, and paint on the red, but you know, some sort of small design. But I mean, like I said, hey, she definitely knows what she's doing. She definitely has that marketing, that all of that. I mean, I am not. She's successful. Like I'm not. But I just don't know how I feel about that kind of money. That's the only thing. Yeah. You know who else does too? This person here does a lot. I really like her stuff. Yeah, okay, so you have to, yeah, I do too. And like I said, for my astigmatism, um, using the white tool over the acrylic rod really helps me know where my dot is going. And you know, again, I always say that I'm not saying you have to do that, but I feel like it is a huge help. I think I'm gonna actually have to coat that again. That did not coat very well. Do you see that? Well, I got paint. I might as well. Okay, Dawn. Yeah, she has quite a few cool things too. Like I would like to get like the votive, like she has molds and stuff. I think that would be fun, like painting votives and stuff like that. But she's got all kinds of stuff too. I forget what else. It's been a while since I've been shopping for stuff. But she had a bunch of stuff. I think there's a few items too on my shopping list. But yeah, that red did not coat very well. I feel like red is like that. Okay, so Dawn must be doing some investigative work. While I paint this. I'll wait for Dawn. So yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 10:30. It just kind of depends on what's happening. If we finish early, we finish early. Oh my God, I have so much red paint on my hand and on my desk. Interesting. Because she would be the other person I would think that would have something like that already. But she doesn't really do a lot of that. She does a lot of molds. And, like, I'd like to get, like I was saying to Karen, she sells a mold for ornaments now? Oh, you could get the mold and use that to mark the ornaments. Right, right. Yes, she has that. Right. She has the thing that goes over. Exactly. So, but the what I was thinking of getting is just that silicone stencil. It's super thin, and that's what it's designed for, is the molded rocks. But anyway, so we got a little bit of time before we need that, but put in a bulk order. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to clean up here somehow, shape, or form. Get some of this paint off my desk and hands. And then we will see everybody tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate to message me. I will look at my messages shortly, and if not tonight, I will get it into you tomorrow. All right, Jessica. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Have a good night. I guess Judy disappeared, but she's still on her tablet. Have a good night. All right, Marianne, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. All right, guys. Good night.